name is Tamathy. I grew up in a small town in Missouri, and I'm the oldest of 21 children. There are 12 girls, 9 boys, no twins, same parents. I have 4 boys, and I've been worried lately as we started to get ready for Halloween that my kids' lives aren't scary enough. If I tell them, can you run out to the car after dark and get something I forgot, they just run out to the car, like the neighborhood's completely safe, which it is. But I was scared to death to go out to the car. If my mom said, could you run out to the car and get something, then I knew that she had about 5 of my siblings waiting for me somewhere that were going to jump out and get me. So my parents, they made us scared. Their fun thing to do when we were young was to take us for long drives in the country and find a witch house, which was an old abandoned house, which there are plenty of in the country in Missouri. They're all gray and they're falling down. Sometimes they're full of hay, sometimes they're in the middle of a pasture, but we'd find a witch house, and then they would tell us that we couldn't leave the witch house until one of us went over and knocked on the door. This is what happens when you let people start having children when they're teenagers, as my parents were. The youngest of their children didn't get this treatment because by that time they were a reasonable age to be parents and had learned their lesson. I don't do these kinds of things to my children. The most scared they've been is when I put my hair in ponytails. It scared them a lot. But they're not scared. I asked them this week, I said, is there anything that you're scared of in our neighborhood or our town? Is there a dog or a person that you're afraid of? And they looked really confused. They said, no. Why? I could tell you where every scary dog in our town was when I was growing up. You didn't go there. You know, it was circled on a map in your brain. You don't go there because there is a dog there that will kill you. It has killed people before, children, and everyone knows that. There is a horse on that side of town that bit a kid's ear off. You don't go there. And there are people, and you know which houses. You don't go to those houses. They are scary, mean, old people. They hate children, they eat children. And there were a lot of them in my town. There were only 600 people in my town, and about 500 of them were scary. There were a lot of places we didn't go. But there were other scary things, and I've been thinking about this. At my grandparents' house, everything was scary. They lived way out in the country at the top of this big hill, and at the kind of almost at the top. At the very top, there was an Indian burial mound. That was scary. And we had to get up at night and go out to the outhouse and look up at the top of that hill and see the Indian burial mound. And know that in a glass case in the living room, my grandpa had arrowheads and all kinds of things that you're not supposed to have, and you're not supposed to dig out of Indian burial mounds, but he had, and had them right in the living room, and maybe that's why his rocking chair was always rocking when no one was in it. So we knew it was haunted, and other things were scary, things that you wouldn't think would be scary. On a totally sunny day, in the middle of the summer, in the heat, I could sit in that yard, and the dirt was scary. The dirt was old dirt. It was old, exposed dirt. There was no grass. And you could feel that hundreds and hundreds of people related to me that were dead had walked on this dirt, had tried to plant things, that tried to grow things. And now it was just this dirt, but you could feel them there. And the wood that everything was made of was scary, sad wood. The old sheds in my grandparents' backyard, and for some reason there were about 20 of these old sheds, and they had huge chains on the doors with padlocks, and there were big gaps between the boards, and you could see in there all kinds of twisted metal and crazy stuff, and you weren't ever supposed to get near those sheds because they were full of bees and snakes for some reason. But all of the wood that these sheds were made of was gray and worn, and it was haunted wood. I swear that the trees that this wood came from, people died in those trees. And that's why it was selected to be made into old, creepy shed wood. To build sheds out of. Everything was scary. The old cars that my grandpa had that we used to sit and play in that we weren't supposed to because of bees and snakes. But we would sit in there, and we'd have so much fun pretending we were driving to California to McDonald's, and then we would think about all the people that had sat in that car that were dead now. And what if the radio came on by itself? And what if we looked in the rearview mirror and there was someone sitting behind us